Okay, good morning again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining webinar, our first webinar for 2022. I'm really excited about. And we just decided to just kick off engaging with professional bodies, national, regional, because our members have been asking. And for those who don't know, the Comms Avenue is a capacity building platform for communication professionals across Africa. We're currently 700 from 15 African countries, which is really exciting. And every day, community that's in Telegram, we get to have conversations, different conversations daily. So we're doing this as our first webinar, and we hope that it will be beneficial for everyone. So I'm going to really kick off with asking everyone to introduce themselves. So I'll start off with you, Samantha. And are you able to unmute? Okay, all right. Hi, Samantha. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi there. It's Samantha from Mauritius.
Okay.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So my name is Samantha Samusaran, and I'm based in Mauritius. I can see I've got at least one person from Mauritius on the call, so that's great. And I am the chair of CIPR International. So it's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you so much. And your next, Lot.
Yeah, my name is Lot Makuza. I am co-founder and the former president of Public Relations Society of Tanzania, and I'm currently serving as the advisory board member of Public Relations Society of Tanzania. So I'm here to represent the Secretary General, Mr. Makura Ndege, who has traveled. So thank you for having me this opportunity here as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're really, really grateful for your time and for being here. Tai, are you able to introduce yourself?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tai Tunkarimu, and I will be representing the African Public Relations Association this morning. And I'm so excited to be here, and I look forward to learning about other associations as well. Thank you very much for having us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Samantha. And the first question I'm going to throw at everybody is how you joined your association or society, because I know you didn't just become, a top member. And what I found interesting for you, Samantha, because I was reading your latest interview, and it says that you joined CIPR in 2018, and then you decided to found the network in Mauritius in 2019. And today you're the chair of the CIPR International, which I think is a very interesting trajectory. So I wanted to know, why did you join, and what have you really gained from being a member of CIPR?
Great, well, thank you so much for the wonderful question. So myself, my career is, I'm from the UK, but I'm married to a Mauritian and based in Mauritius. So I first started out working in the area of European public affairs in the, with the European sort of remit, if you like. And then I moved over to Mauritius about 7 or 8 years ago to work firstly for the Mauritian government in the area of investment promotion. And this is something that I'm still doing today, and also other corporate activities. So the reason why I joined CIPR is that I felt that even if I'd had already a career of more than 2 decades, which covered both PR, communications, public affairs, that I didn't really have like the PR training because my own degree was in the areas of law and government. So I never did any PR formal training. And already after 2 decades, I was like, involved in various training courses. And I was thinking to myself, well, what if I could actually professionalize myself? It's like, because now it's already been so many years that I'm on the clock doing this kind of thing. And I mean, I was also aware of the sort of digital agenda was kind of coming along. And myself, I was not, I never had any background in IT, but I can see more and more, the growth of social media and other types of platforms. So, and so the CIPR itself is an organization that has a panel on artificial intelligence, for example. So I was interested to see, like, how is the industry evolving? And I was also interested to know more about international best practice, about ethics, about the code of conduct, because I had a feeling that maybe I was missing out on something and that there was more that I could learn. So, so this was already going on in my own mind to say, let me see if I can join CIPR. and I'll learn how I can benefit from that. And then also, like moving to Mauritius, I've been working both with the public and private sector. And I could also see that there was a sort of a gap where many people have studied mass communication at university in Mauritius, but then after that, they had more or less nowhere to go. It's like because there was no, professional body to speak of, there was no sort of training body for the PR industry. So I said, well, let's see if I can set up a network myself. And, so this has taken me on my way. I'm glad we've brought a number of Mauritian PR professionals on board. And then I was also invited to join the CIPR International Committee. So the CIPR itself, in fact, has members from around 80 countries, around 850 professionals just for the international part. And then we're around 10,000 professionals for the entire institute. So I thought also from the perspective of networking, of building bridges, learning about, PR in other areas, I was very interested. And then finally on the African side, because I also, not only do I work in PR, I also work in online publishing. So I run a Pan-African news portal called Platform Africa, where I built up quite a network of Pan-African contacts in the PR industry. So I also then took it upon myself, volunteered to see if I could help to build the African network of CIPR. And I mean, I can see some of the people on the call today that I've already talked to, because I mean, what I do see from a sort of an African and a Mauritian perspective is a great thirst for self-improvement, for learning, for qualifications, for training, as people are always proud to improve themselves, which I think is wonderful. So this is why that I think that overall, I think both from an international perspective, a Pan-African one and a Mauritian one, that the CIPR has a lot to offer in terms of training, qualifications, and I'll be happy to talk about that more later on.
Thank you very much. And I really like how your perspective, there's the international part, there's the regional part, and then there's the fact of the national part as well. And what you said about people seeking to improve themselves, get certifications, we get all of that in the community as well. So I totally agree. Thank you for sharing. So I'm going to move on to Lot, and basically it's the same question. Your journey into your society, how did it begin? You started as a regular member. How did that story start off? You need to unmute. Let me see if I can unmute you. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. As I introduced earlier, that I am co-founder of Public Relations Society of Tanzania. So in 2015, it's where we came up with an idea of establishing a regulatory body, because in the previous years, since then, Tanzania had no what we call a regulatory body that regulates the PR profession in Tanzania. So then, by then, we were students by then. So we came up with that idea, and we championed that from the grassroots, following all the regulations and the procedures in the government, getting support from the university level, those people who are working in different organizations and the companies. We registered the association. Then from there, because we had not even what we call the physical address, by then the St. Augustine University of Tanzania provided us just a room to start with. So I am talking about something that we started from just as an idea in 2015, and up to this moment, it's not only just an organization, it is the institution that works with the government closely, not only with the government and the other national bodies outside. Up to this moment, our aim, the primary purpose of establishing PRST was to make sure that we nurture this profession, is to make sure that we introduce the code of conduct to all public relations and the communications practitioners in the country, so that we can have what we call professional framework, where all public relations practitioners can follow and abide by the rules and the regulations, so that we make it in a professional way. But our aim also was to make sure that we link with other international bodies. We introduced ourselves with International Public Relations Association. We introduced ourselves with African Public Relations Association, in which it is African umbrella now. So we tried to link ourselves, PRSK, PRISA in South Africa, and the other international bodies. The aim was to learn how other people are doing in other countries, so that if possible, we can take it and put into practical in our environment in Tanzania. And one of the primary purpose was to make sure that we nurture purely PR professional practitioners. And that's why we started initiative that every university, every college that provides communications courses or public relations courses, we establish what we call Students Public Relations Association. The aim is to make sure that we nurture purely public relations practitioners, that in 10 years to come, Tanzania will be competent like any other countries in the world. So we tried, and up to this moment, we are doing very well. And up to last year, we did what we conducted what we call our first general election, where ourselves we tried to bring new faces in board. So all other founders just became regular and advisors of the board, and they bring new faces to make sure that the public relations society of Tanzania is moving. But our aim, we were inspired by the achievement of public relations profession in Tanzania in different organizations from the private sector and the government entities. So that's how I can say. Thank you so much.
Wow, like amazing is to start it off from ground. I think that that's really good. And from you speaking, I can even see your passion for the profession and the professionals in Tanzania. And I also like the fact that you also linked up with other regional associations, because that cross-learning is very important, not just in your country, but regionally and internationally to stay relevant. Yeah. And I really like the point you said about the students in university, because it's almost like catch them young, right? And then you start nurturing them as well. So I think that that's really amazing. I hope we have people from Tanzania on the call. I mean, I think that was really good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to move over to Taye. What I like about this panel is we have somebody from the international, somebody from national, someone from regional. We didn't want to pack too many reps in one webinar. So I would like to hear from Taye, the African Public Relations Association, which Los had actually mentioned. How did you join, and what's the journey been like for you?
Okay, thank you very much, Adedoye. First of all, I must commend you for the great work that you're doing with the Comms Avenue. We really appreciate you. We see your good work. My story is kind of similar to that of Los. I started as a volunteer. While in school, I used to volunteer for the association. And I would, attend meetings, go for conferences, and, gradually went through the processes of joining the association. And first of all,
Oh, I can't hear Taye anymore.
oh my God, I was just talking to myself. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now with your internet. Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I said my story is kind of similar to that of Lot. So I joined while in school. I used to volunteer for the association. And, I go for meetings, I attend the conferences. I used to mix up with, senior colleagues, professional colleagues. And so I got to know so much about the association and the past presidents and all of that. And so for me, it was more of a volunteering journey that led me to becoming a member, and then also becoming the coordinator of the association, managing over 27 African countries. And that's the journey for me so far. Quite simple and straightforward, basically. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. And I really like the diversity of the stories that we're hearing, because because we have people in our community that are still students that feel, oh, all of these people, they've gone ahead, they've done such great things, but you were able to volunteer and put yourself in that ecosystem. And now you're the coordinator. I can't even imagine what it's like managing. Did you say 27 countries? That's
at the moment, I'm managing 27. That's exclusive of, partners and other key stakeholders that, the association works with.
I think that's really amazing. And thank you for sharing that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Samantha. We're going to get to talking about how do you get into the association, because that's one of the frequently asked questions is, I've gone on the website, I'm not really sure. What's the first step I need to take? Do I need to talk to somebody? Am I writing an exam? So can you tell us that process of somebody is making the decision now, I want to be part of the CIPR. What are the steps for membership?
Absolutely, it will be a pleasure to explain. So, so for those who are based in Africa and internationally, that you basically have two options for joining CIPR. So the first one is that of a member. And if you join as a member, you can also use the initials MCIPR after your name. So in fact, you can put that, on your virtual business card, you can put it on LinkedIn. This is it's a sort of an expression to the industry to say, here I am, I'm a professional, I abide by ethics, a code of conduct. You can already see it after your name. So that is member grades. And then the second way of joining, which is frankly cheaper to get started, is that which is called the global affiliates. So the global affiliate basically gives you, at least in the starting off periods, both of those will give you access to the entire database of the CIPR training materials. And so we have something called the Cpd, which is about the continuous professional development, much like other types of chartered organizations. So what CPD means is that over the course of a year, or a cycle as they call it, that you will gather up a certain number of points by doing different activities. So let's say that for 1 year you would have 12 activities to do. So it might be like, one is watching a webinar on branding, one is reading a skills guide on ethics, one is watching a webinar on crisis comms. You have more than 1,500 learning materials. So you basically map out your own path. You set out your own professional learning goals. You decide which are the areas in the database that you want to cover. And so once you've completed the activity, you perform your own write-up. Because it basically asks you, how would you say that this, what have you learned in this exercise, and how has it helped you? And then the second question would be, how would you apply it in your daily work? So if you've watched something about, digital tools and skills, you can say, well, these were the skills that I've now learned along the way. This is how I can apply them in my work. And then over the course of the year, that you then gather up the points and you submit them as you go along. So the Cpd year basically runs from the 1st of April of 1 year to the 31st of March of the subsequent year. So, so if you look on the CIPR website, it obviously explains it more fully than I'm doing now. But I would say that one particularly good piece of news I'd like to share for this session is that, based on your enthusiasm and great work at the Comms Avenue, we are going to be offering a discount code for the next 4 weeks for Comms Avenue members. So the grades that are now shown on the website, that we're offering a £20 discount on both membership grades between now and the 22nd of February. So if you are interested to know more about the discount code and also more details of the actual membership itself, then I'd say, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. You can easily find me, or even go through with the Comms Avenue for my details if needed. But I do think that the two membership grades do offer great possibilities. And the main advantage of having the member grades is that it starts you off with the sort of initials after your name. You can also vote in some CIPR activities and so on. But if you want to get started, then the global affiliate is also an extremely good way to begin. But so I don't want to explain all the details now of all of the memberships. But I'd say like on that, then please do get in touch with me for anyone's own specific questions. And I'd say we also do importantly have a student member grade as well. So anyone who wants to join as a student, not only do we have the student membership itself, which is again cheaper, but we do also have other activities for students like mentoring in particular. We have two mentoring programs at the CIPR. One is called Progress, which is for those who are moving up the ladder. And that basically, it gives you access to a mentor who has already the chartered status, which is the peak of the qualifications that you can get. So you can get a mentor for that, for that period while you're moving up the ladder, how to move along in your career. And then for students, we have a very new program which is called Career Starter. So again, it's giving you access to chartered professionals to guide you on your way. So I think that all of those options are extremely interesting and exciting, and I hope, Odin, that they'll be interesting to those on the call today.
I think so, and thank you so much for the discount codes. We didn't discuss this, so thank you so much. I have a follow-up question, and I'm happy you mentioned the chartered part, because another question we get is which certifications globally, regionally, or nationally recognized for us as PR and professionals and communicators. And I know that our member in Kenya, for example, she was telling us the process of writing exams, the exercises. So I also wanted you to please speak about that option for the people that are looking for certifications. And I also know that CIPR has like mini courses. Is it available only for members or non-members? And I know there are also handbooks. I personally read the handbook of public affairs in my program, my master's program at IE. And I thought that it was broken down so nicely and so beautifully about public affairs. So is access only to members, or non-members can also access such handbooks?
There are various different options. I mean, on the one hand, there are some university courses which are connected to CIPR, so that's one thing. Then you have the track of being a member or a global affiliate, as I was just explaining. So if you continue on those paths, let's say after 2 years, at which point you become a member after a certain time, then you are able to become an accredited practitioner. So this is a status that I have now. So what that means is that I've done 2 years of the professional development, as mentioned. So it shows that you've covered a wide range of PR disciplines effectively along the way. So that's already sort of step one in terms of, showing your value to the market. That I already have, accreditation. You can describe yourself as an accredited PR practitioner, and you can mention it on your CV, on LinkedIn, and all the rest. So accredited practitioner is the first step of an accreditation. And then if you've completed 3 cycles of the Cpd professional development training, then you are eligible to apply for the chartered assessments. So for this, it has 3 main elements, which are ethics, strategy, and leadership. And it's conducted on a virtual assessment now. I mean, this is something which came in new with COVID. So I mean, what I'm thrilled about myself is that now there's an equal chance, whether you're in Lagos, whether you're in New York, wherever you are, it's that you've got an equal chance as compared with anyone to be able to sit for the chartered assessments. So it's a live session whereby you will receive the materials in advance, and then you find out your results on the day, and then you become chartered. I mean, that is basically it's the peak of professional excellence. And we are at CIPR the only body which is able to award chartered status. So my personal view is this is something which is extremely powerful in showing your commitment, to ethics, to to professional development, to high standards, and being part of the code of conduct. But I think all of this, as a professional, I'm yet to discover anything which is more powerful than being a chartered practitioner in the PR industry. So again, that is something which I think is is extremely interesting, and it's only in the last year or 2 that it's become available online. So I must say that in Africa, I know a number of professionals in Nigeria. We have one in Mauritius. We have one in Botswana. We're now starting to see more and more African professionals wanting to follow this path to prepare the studies, to look into it, and to be able to show that to their own markets. So I'm very much keen that now that I'm the chair of CIPR International to promote this within Africa, because I think it's a tremendous opportunity for the professionals to prove themselves.
Amazing, thank you so much. And I know that people are going to ask questions. So I'll go to Los and Tai, so that I want everybody to have all their questions answered. Well, most of their questions, because we have 1 hour. But Lot, you spoken about elections when you were talking. So I wanted to know, so members in Tanzania to get involved in the society, what are the steps that they will need to take?
What? Come again?
Our members in Tanzania, so how do you join the society? What are the steps you need to take to be part of the society?
Yeah, okay. In order to join the association, we don't have this what we call the complicated procedures. We have our own joining form. If someone is interested from any organization, we give him or her a joining form, where the joining form, it has all the demands that the PRST is requiring from that practitioner. And it is very simple. It should be that you have qualified, you started, you have been studying, and you qualified or you graduated from any recognized university in Tanzania. And if you are working or not working, and if you are working, in which organizations are you working? Those are just the basic information that PRST is seeking in order to create the database of their members. And if immediately after filling the joining form, you send it directly to PRST, then the committee, the executive committee, and other official members can go through your applications, can understand that these ones, and we go beyond, even by calling. If you have a boss and you are working under someone in different organizations, we have to call, or we have to visit, we have to meet face to face. And then if you are qualified, you are given chance to join. It is very, very, very simple. We have a student membership, non-student membership, those who have already graduated and they are working somewhere, or they are not working but already graduated and they are practicing the public relations profession. But also for those students, they are joining Public Relations Society of Tanzania through their official Student Public Relations Associations, because we have all those associations in every university. So they are joining through their official associations, and through what we call the Students Career Guide, where the PRST is always providing to university. So through their students associations, we enroll them immediately after graduating. So if you are a student, if you are a student in a certain university, then you are graduating. So you don't need also to take a joining form, then to start filling all the information, because our database understands you that this someone was studying somewhere, now she or is graduating. So we enroll directly, putting into our database, then you become active member. And how do we recall you that you're active member? Participating to our programs. We have all our programs. We have trainings, we have conferences, we have what we call the seminars, and whatever PRST is doing, you as active member, you have to participate. So we have not reached a stage like what Samantha was saying, providing, the CPD, no. Because we are still struggling and trying to make sure that our aim is to make sure that we move from what we call the association into the certification institution, whereby the government through the parliament can give us the rules and the regulations. And this will be, our aim is to make sure that joining PRST is a mandatory to any public relations practitioner in Tanzania. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I like that, CIPR, the students, I really like the students being brought on board very early. It sounds like a straightforward process. So thank you so much, Lot, for sharing. So Ty, can you tell us how to get involved in the African Public Relations Association. What are the steps? What do we need to do? Do we have exams? Do we have to fill a form? Yeah, just please take us through the process. Hi, Ty, are you there? Let me see. Okay, I don't see Ty on the call anymore. I think she's dropped off. Okay, so pending the time Ty comes back, let me open up, because I was going to open up for questions. I know a lot of people have questions. So if you have questions, please could you put them in the chat, or you can also raise your hand. This is an opportunity to engage directly and get your questions answered about CIPR. I think Tayo will join back. I'm just checking again that she's off. Yeah. When Tayo joins back, we will learn how to be part of the African Public Relations Association. But for CIPR, for Public Relations Society of Tanzania, please feel free to ask your questions about joining. I think for you, Los, the question is, so this form, does it get sent? Do you have to come to a physical location, or you can get the form from the website? You're muted, Emmy. Okay.
You can get the joining form from the website. Yeah. So if you go to the website, there are other options that you can go directly and get the forms. And if you have access to communicate with any person, because our forms are distributed to every member. So one of the leaders can send you the form, but mostly importantly, it can be accessed to the website or to the bio through our official social media handles. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And then for Samantha, I know that the CIPR does webinars and other programs. Are there programs that members can join, or non-members can join, sorry, before even being a member, they can partake and join in conversations?
Yes, that's a great question. So, when it comes to CIPR International, of which I am myself the chair, as I've mentioned, so our webinars are in fact free. So it's not the case necessarily for all of the CIPR activities, but when we have our own live webinars, for example, on African activities, we've had some in the past, let's say also with Africa Communications Week, on what are the keys to crisis communications planning, how to run the Pan-African campaigns, and we will continue to have various sort of African-focused events. So for those events, we're actually not charging for them, and those are free for anyone to join. So I would say for that, if you follow us on LinkedIn on our CIPR International group, then we do advertise our events, which are open to everyone. So those are the ones which are live. But I would say if it's the case that you want to go through the actual catalogue of all of the CIPR resources, which would include the past webinars and other skills guides, reports, other types of training materials, those are only available if you are actually a member, because then you are a member, you have a login, you can search through the CIPR database. And I mean, one more thing which I think maybe is interesting to mention is in terms of the CIPR resources, that you do also have some practical templates, for example. So if you've got a particular type of project or contracts, I mean, CIPR can also help you with contract templates. We even have a hotline for for business and legal advice. So some of those really practical things. I mean, myself, I've started several agencies and I run my own agency now. So I would say there are times, particularly when you start out, I know a lot of people take a few years with a particular, organization, and then you set out on your own. But at that point, you say, oh, I haven't got a contract. I don't have a template for anything. Now, what am I going to do? So I would say that these are examples where particularly if you're self-employed or a freelancer, I think that for those areas that CIPR can be particularly useful in terms of those types of resources, because they're very practical. So I mean, on the one hand, they're helping you with your career development, but they're also helping you in your day-to-day work. So I think that is something which is extremely useful.
Thank you. And it's such a valid point about the template. Even our community members that work in different organizations, we're always getting questions. Do you have a template for this? Do you have a template for that?
Exactly, because you don't realize that you don't have one until someone asks you for it. And then you say, oh no, I don't have anything.
So true, so true. Okay, so Taye is back. Welcome back, Taye. Can you hear us? Okay, I hope she hasn't dropped off again. Hi, Taye. Okay, still here. Can you hear us? She was having a bit of internet challenges. I wanted to take Taye before I see a question in the chat. Okay, maybe I'll just go to the question in the chat. But Taye, if you can hear us, please let me know. Okay, so Tijesu is asking if there's a readable format for the steps to join. So I think that both Samantha and Lot have said you can check on the website if I'm very correct. But is there a PDF? What we can even do as I'm reading this question is if I get all of that information from the different bodies and we just condense into one and we can share with our members. Does that sound good to you both?
Yes, in fact, I'm just pasting into the chat if I can the yes, well, I'll say certainly anyone who would like to have more information can certainly contact me anyway. I mean, I will endeavour in a moment to put the CIPR join page into the chat so that anyone can click on it directly and have a look. I mean, I would just repeat again that we do have several different membership grades, say from the member to the global affiliates to the students, and that we do also have a special discounted offer, so running until the 22nd of February. So myself, I think I will just fill in the link in the chat box in a moment, and then anyone that's online can already have a quick look if they wish.
Awesome, thank you so much. I think people would appreciate that. Okay, so Taye has dropped off. Lot, is there a link that you can share as well so people that want to go to the website can just go directly? Thank you, Samantha. I've seen the link. I think we'll also get the one from Tanzania. Okay, so any more questions? I want to join CIPR. I want to be part of the Public Relations Society of Tanzania. I want to join the African Public Relations Association. I really hope Tayo should come by because they're having an interesting conference in Tanzania actually in May, which will be very interesting. Okay, I see Tayo now. Tayo, I hope you can speak. I hope you can hear us. I really wanted to know more about that conference because it's bringing together communicators and PR professionals from across Africa. And I thought that was really interesting as well. Thank you, Lot.
Okay, so I'm back on. Sorry, can you hear me now?
The question is, how do some people become members of the association? And then I was asking about the event in Tanzania, but you can start with membership.
Okay, thank you very much. Showing my face at the moment. I'm in between two other things. Yes, so a member of the African Public Relations Association, it's quite easy. First of all, you need to be a member of a national association in the country where you reside. So for instance, I reside in Nigeria. So I have to first of all be a member of the Nigerian Institute of. When I'm a certified member of, then I can now become a member of APRA. Because without that, you can't become a member of APRA because we work with the national associations across all the countries. So that's really the first step, to becoming a member of the African Public Relations Association. Then after that, you go on to decide which membership category you're going to be on. So for instance, if you're an associate member of the National Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, then you automatically become an associate member of APRA. Then you will grow into becoming a full member, a senior member, and a fellow. So first of all, those are the processes for you to become a member. And then you also need to get certified by 2 senior members of your national association for you to become a member of APRA. So even if I'm a member of Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, if I'm registering to become a member of APRA, in my process of registering, 2 people from my national association have to certify me to become a member of APRA. So that's basically the process for joining, because already we try not to make it tedious, because if you're a member of a national association, then you're already automatically practicing in the industry. And so there are different fees for the categories. So for associate member, you pay $100 for your first subscription. And then in the subsequent years, you pay $50. And then for full members, you pay $125 for your first subscription. And then subsequent years, you pay $75 for your annual dues. And you move on to becoming a fellow. You pay $200 for your first subscription, and then you pay $100 for your subsequent renewal of your membership. And we also have corporate membership, which is $500. And that entitles the CEO to automatically become a member. And of course, 2 other members of that organization automatically become members of the association through the corporate membership registration. Adedoyin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So those are the levels of membership categories that we have. Here, we hold our annual conference, which is a big conference where we have professionals from different parts of Africa and of course across the globe attending the conference. And so Tanzania was supposed to have hosted this conference in 2020, but many thanks to COVID, we thought we could have a physical conference in 2021. We couldn't, but we had a fantastic virtual conference, very, very, very fantastic. And so we're having the same again this year, but we're going to have a physical conference in Tanzania. Hopefully, COVID allows us, but there are plans. People have started registering, we paid for a venue, everything that we need to do. So for you to be a part of the conference in Tanzania, you necessarily doesn't have to be a member of APRA, because for us, it's a gathering of professionals where we can also tell you more about APRA. So you don't necessarily have to be a member of APRA to attend the Tanzanian conference. And so the conference fee is $950, and it covers for conference fee, certificates,
I think her internet has bumped off. I was just about to ask her if she's going to give us Coms Avenue discounts with these prices. But I mean,
can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You stopped at
Okay.
about the conference fee.
Okay, so the conference fee is $950. And we also have a tour fee, which is $200. So the conference fee covers for conference registration, conference materials, tea break and lunch, and of course, what else then is certification. So for those who want to go on a tour, because we try as part of APRA's vision and objective is not just for people to come attend the conference and go. We want to be able to learn about other African countries so that we can tell our African stories better. For instance, I'm Nigerian, and because I'm a member of APRA, I should be able to tell the Ghanaian story. I should be able to tell the Tanzanian story. And of course, people in Tanzania and South Africa should be able to tell the Nigerian story, because our goal is to sell a positive Africa. And there's a common saying that we usually say to each other in Africa, that we are one Africa, regardless of our color, skin, language, or anything. We are one Africa. And so we ensure that people go on a tour of the country where we are having the conference so they can learn the history of that country and have knowledge about the country. So that's it for the tour. It's going to be a 5-day event. And so usually, again, like what we say, or what we do rather, on the first day, we have a session for the mass communication and public relations students in the country where we're having the conference. Like Lot mentioned about how they grew the association, we're also trying in our own way to also impact, younger professionals to bring them on board. The only way we can try to get APRA also exists. So it's also more of our CSR that we do in every country that we go to. So we don't just do that for the university student. We also
Taye, your internet is off again. Let's see if she'll be back. I'm hoping that in this conference, because it sounds like there's a lot of synergy with LOT and the PRST. So I'm hoping that you're collaborating on this conference because it'll be really nice since it's hosting in Tanzania. Okay, she's still off. Okay, so I think Samantha, you have a lot of questions, but before Samantha goes, I see some questions about NIPR. The rep for NIPR hasn't yet confirmed. We're having this in different parts. So this is part 1. So we're hoping that either for part 2 or maybe part 3, we're able to get the rep from the NIPR to come and answer questions live. But I'm going to hand over now to Samantha to answer some of the questions that are in the chat.
Yes, well, thank you everyone for all of your questions. I'm glad to see so much interest. So first of all, just to make clear that there's no link between NIPR and CIPR. So CIPR is completely independent from all other bodies. So I can see there's a clear difference with the African PR Association, where you must become a national member first. That does not apply to CIPR. CIPR is fully international, and you are not obliged to have any other membership to join CIPR. So that is the first point. I think I have a question from Matilda, which is to ask about the difference between a member and the global affiliate grade for joining. So, so to be a member then, it will ask you, do you already have 2 years of PR experience? So if you actually don't have 2 years experience, if you're only starting off in your career, if you're still a student, you would instead take the student grade of membership. If you don't have the 2 years, but you're sort of at the junior level, starting off on the ladder, then in that position, then you would only be able to join as a global affiliate. And then after that, after you've been 2 years in the industry, then you could become a member. Another difference between the two is that when it comes to getting the accredited PR practitioner status, you're only able to achieve that when you are paying as a member. So what you're able to do is to join as a global affiliate. You do two cycles of Cpd, so you already start to know your training, your activities, your logging and submitting. So it's only after 2 years, at that point, you could continue on as a global affiliate. If you're happy using the resources, using the database for your learning, that's perfectly fine, and you can continue in that way. Whereas if you would like to move up the ladder in terms of certification, then you would have to join as a member in order to be able to avail of the accredited PR practitioner status, and also to become a chartered practitioner, you must have a member level status. So I would say in reality, the main difference for the first 2 years, the real difference is only that you don't have the words MCIPR next to your name if you are a global affiliate. If you don't mind that, then it's fine to join as a global affiliate. If you do want to be able to show your market, your employer, your network on the first day that you are part of CIPR, and you want to be able to put it after your name, then you're better off to join as a member. So even if it's slightly more expensive, but nonetheless, then you can show it to the market straight away. So those are the main two differences on that. I think I have some more questions possibly still.
There's a question, and this is a very interesting question because, I mean, thinking about the APRA, first need to join the NIPR, join the APRA, you want to join the CIPR, you want to join the society in Tanzania. It's a lot of money. And sometimes I mean, look at the figures that Tari was calling, like, how do I even begin? So are there options? And this is what I have been wondering personally, because I know that the fees and the membership is usually upfront. You have to pay a year ahead. So are there options, or is the society willing to consider maybe monthly options so that it's easy on our pockets, you know, and because there's membership, there's paying for exams, there's a lot. There's this conference now it's totaling $1,000 minus accommodation, transport. I really want to come to Tanzania, but I'm calculating the figures like, oh my goodness. So Samantha, do you want to answer the question on the dues and membership?
Yes, well, I've got a few more questions, I think. So I've got one from Victor. So good to see you there, Victor. So Victor's question is about corporate membership. In fact, that's something which I haven't mentioned until now, but CIPR does also have corporate membership. So if it turns out that you are part of an organization which is a corporate member, and then the person leaves the organization, it says, how does it affect their membership? I mean, the principle of it would be that if you leave the organization, then you probably would not be entitled to the corporate membership benefit anymore, that you would then become an individual member. But I mean, what I would say in reality, I mean, if you or people you knew were in that situation, then I would encourage them to contact me personally to explain the situation to the membership department to see if there is, if there's some sort of arrangements that can be made. So I mean, I can't offer any guarantees on that, but all I can say is if there are some sort of extenuating circumstances, if it's already towards the end of the membership year, I would say that in general, if you have a particular situation about this or other types of queries, if your case is very specific, it's always the best thing to do to contact myself. So I mean, it's now I've had, say, with the role of the chair of CIPR International, that I can quickly access all of the right people to get you a quick answer. So that is basically what I would encourage you to do there. And then there's one more question from Matilda, which is about subscription and membership dues. I mean, I completely take the point that some of us are paying from our personal pockets, as I can see. I mean, on this front as well, I mean, normally the membership is for a 1-year period. And what has been done until now in the UK is that they have been offering sort of installments for payments on a monthly basis or so on. I mean, until now, there hasn't really been a demand for that as such for people coming from abroad in a sort of in a major way. But now that we're seeking to attract more members from Africa, more members from other countries, myself, I'm already sort of in touch with the membership team to try and look for more payment options. So again, so if there's anyone that would like to join, but also would like to spend some specific payment terms, then again, I think it's sort of on a case-by-case basis. Because the main thing that we want to do at CIPR is, to encourage more international members, more African members. I think it's in the interest of the profession and of the professionals and even the institutes to try to be a bit flexible. And I'd say during the times of COVID, the institute has already become much more flexible in these sorts of ways. Because I mean, unfortunately, many people around the world, lost their jobs, lost their income, and CIPR has tried to do what it can. I mean, one last thing which we haven't mentioned at all is about the impact of COVID on people and the profession. Where again, I mean, CIPR has been looking as well to try and support people from not only a career perspective, but also from that of the sort of emotional well-being and even the mental health perspective. So again, CIPR now has actually a sort of a hotline for mental health. It also has some seminars, seminars and webinars which are about how to protect your mental health in these difficult times. Because the PR profession has been impacted, tremendously around the world. The people working in the profession have been working, longer and harder than ever for less income, for less opportunities. So, I mean, the CIPR, from afar as a virtual organisation now, in most respects, is trying to support its members all around the world, not only in terms of training, but also in terms of that very important emotional well-being too.
Thank you, Samantha. I think that's really good. Loth, what about you in terms of membership? What are the options available for people to pay dues and all of that?
Yeah, the categories or the options of the membership, of course, are very normal, and we don't have much those different memberships. As I told you that a normal person can be a member, whether he's the CEO somewhere or he's public relations communication somewhere, he can be a member. But we also provide what we call the associate membership. The associate membership, it's where a certain company which aligns with our visions and the visions as PRST, if they
I think Loth is frozen.
they need to become efforts in our member. So the payment, it's all about negotiable because we don't have a normal prescribed figures. But for members, for normal members, we have what we call the interest fee. The interest fee, as it can be seen as a very little, but interest fee is 30,000 shillings, but we have what we call the annual fee. Immediately after joining the association, you will be regularly paying the annual fee, which accounts to 60,000 shillings per year. And if we have what we call different PR or communications or PR agencies in Tanzania, that becomes, they need to become members of public relations. For them, they pay, it's only 100,000 shillings per year. So you can see even the amount, it is too small just because we were at a very initial stage. You cannot come up with a very huge amount so that people can even try to ask why these people are charging too much money. No. So in order to be a complete member, you have to pay interest fee, 30,000, the annual fee, 60,000 shillings, the ID fee in which we are going to give you the ID in which will identify you wherever you are. So it's just normal amount whereby every person, if he is serious, he can be a member of public relations. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just going to ask Tai one more question. We're running out of time. Tai, are you back here? I've seen that I've shared the link in the chat for those who want.
I'm back.
Hi, Tai, welcome back.
Can you?
Oh, it's draggy. Can you try speaking? Now we can't hear you. Okay. I think what I would
internet option.
It's still draggy. Let's see. Tai, if you can hear me, what I would do is I would just get some of the questions that are still outstanding, get the answers, and make sure that I share with community members as to fees. I know we've said something about fees, and then also the program that's happening in Tanzania. I'm hoping that, Lord, if I do come, I get to meet you. That would be really nice. But I really would love to be there. Okay, I think those are all the questions. If we still have more questions, Samantha is totally active and very responsive on LinkedIn. And I believe I can share your email address with them, Samantha.
I'm back on. Can you hear me now?
Okay, hi. I can hear you.
Okay, I'm back on.
Okay. So I was saying that the last question that we're asked is, in terms of membership fees, are there payment options for people that maybe want to spread out the payments?
Okay, so we don't do the spreading out of the payment option, but it's something that, we can welcome for people who have a situation like that. But usually we don't do that, but you can work with the secretariat to be able to accommodate that.
Okay, that would be, and I wanted to just chip in, you know, if you can do Comms Avenue discount, especially for the conference. I think that the conference will really be exciting for our members. But, you know,
Okay, so we can do that. We can do discounts. So it depends on the number of people coming in from the Comms Avenue. And so we can work out a discount. And of course, I report to the council members, but I can say that we can work a discount for Comms Avenue, but I can't say how much discount we would give. But
I'm happy
definitely we can work.
to considering it, so that's good.
Yes, yes, we will definitely consider it because we are happy to have partners to work with partners, and we do a lot of partnerships. We work with the African Union Commission, International Public Relations Association, the Homes Group, which is the Provoke Group. So once you become a member, those are some of the benefits you get to enjoy. For instance, when the Provoke Group is having their conference in the US, usually in October, we get a whooping discount for our members, paid up members. And so, for instance, if the conference is $1,500, you get as much as paying $1,000 for the conference for being a member of APRA. So there are a lot of benefits that you can gain from joining the association. You can network, you can meet with people, you can leverage, you know, there are opportunities. So definitely, we are happy to have Comms Avenue on board as a partner, and also to give you discounts for the conference. And I'm sure you will not regret attending it, the conference. And Lord to be happy to host members of the Comms Avenue once we're in Tanzania for the conference. By the way, the conference is in May, 23rd to 27th of May, 2022. And what we do is we partner with immigration to assist delegates with their visa processing. We also partner with hotels to get discount for our delegates. So we do a lot of partnerships, you know, to reduce the cost on delegates attending the conference. So I could share more on that with you, and you can share on your database or during your newsletter to your members, and then we can take it off from there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I would engage with you after this because yes, we'd definitely love to partner with you. I personally would love to come. I mean, it sounds really exciting to me, and hopefully get to meet Lord. And we're also hoping I would announce that to visit the different African countries. We have members in 15 African countries, including Tanzania and Mauritius. So Samantha, hopefully I get to meet you this year.
Absolutely, we'd love to.
That would be really nice.
Yeah. There's one question which I haven't answered, which is from Catherine. So I'll just have like a couple of words on that, if I may. So Catherine asked about the Cipr community, which is a point I didn't yet have time to mention. But I mean, also anyone who joins Cipr is also considered as part of the community. You can also volunteer for different activities. I mean, although I say I'm the chair of Cipr International, which is intended for international community in general, but overall we also have sectoral and regional groups. So we have one called Cipr Inside, which is for those on internal communications. We have like a crisis communications network. We have also a new tourism and hospitality network. So we also have different sectoral parts as well. So anyone who joins Cipr is able to join as many groups as they like. So they can also follow, if you can follow the Cipr Financial and Corporates Communications Group and their webinars about financial comms. So it's not only just sort of looking at a database. There are also live events all the time, and you can also volunteer, to apply to be a committee member, which is again how I started my own Cipr path, by becoming a member of Cipr International before I became the chair of it. So there are lots of volunteer opportunities, lots of chances to to meet and network with other other professionals, both in your own country and also internationally and within Africa. So I think that the community element is also one of the real selling points of Cipr, in a way, to say that you never know where that new contact and new partnership can lead you to a new business, which is always what we like in this current difficult climate across the world. So again, I think the community part is also one to remember.
Awesome, and I totally agree. Thank you so much, Samantha, Lord, and Tai. This has been really, really informative. And I think the follow-up would be, I would just engage each and every one of you to get all the information so that we can condense it for our members and share it in the newsletter and in our Telegram group. And everyone, if you have questions, they've written the email addresses, websites. I believe you can connect with them on LinkedIn as well to ask your questions, or you can send them to me. I will send over to them. But most importantly, we're having these engagement sessions for you to actively be a member of an international body, a regional body, or a national body, which is why we've reached out to so many bodies, just so that you know the options and you can find the one that's right for you, because I believe that professional bodies, being a member, aside from the community benefit that Samantha just said, is the certification. It's just knowing that you are practicing on the required standard, and which is what we need across the continent, in our different countries, and internationally as well, because now we know that because of COVID, the world is now open. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Lot.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Adeline, for the kind invitation, and thanks to everyone for
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. So the next webinar, I should announce, actually, is next Saturday, where the Public Relations Association of Zambia has confirmed. We're also going to have with members from the IABC, that's the International Association of Business Communicators, the Africa region. We're still following up with the associations in Kenya, in Ghana, in Zimbabwe, so fingers crossed, and in Nigeria as well. So fingers crossed they all confirm, and we'll spread that, but we'll share the information on our social media and of course in the community. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye.
Thank you so much. See you in Tanzania.
See you in Tanzania, Lord.
Bye, bye.